somebody. Um, I've been looking back over my old diary and reaching out to a lot of people and kind of getting some feedback. And the big thing that kind of helped me were people being there. And the people that made such a big difference in my life were actually those college RAs that I was speaking about in my story. And just to kind of recap a little bit, whenever I went to college, I kind of got really worse. I sunk into this hole of depression, and it ate me up inside. I had a couple of RAs who were actually helping me a lot. What they did, I don't even think they realize how it affected me and how it, kind of saved me. Um, Whenever you have a depressed individual who's suicidal or anything like that, dealing with some mental illness problems, there's not a lot you can do. I'll be honest. But the thing that always made the most difference to me was just being there. Sometimes I wanted to talk about it. Sometimes I just wanted to sit in the same room as somebody else. And more often than not, I just wanted to sit there with somebody else and not be alone. The feelings of loneliness and emptiness really surged through me a lot. And so if somebody was just sitting there, maybe there was a TV on, but we were both in our laptops, or, I was reading while they were painting, or at one point I think I sat in the room while she did some Halloween makeup. Super silly stuff, but I just got to be with somebody else. We went out to the lake, and that's where we would talk, and, that made the most difference to me. Especially getting out of your surroundings. Like, say, somebody like me who is always home and doesn't get out. Make them get out. That's so big I can't even stress it. Whenever you're just sitting at home in the same place in the rut and you can't get out, like, you need somebody to come in and grab you. So I always say, like, just make them get out. You guys don't have to go anywhere with other people or anything like that. Just go to the lake. That was always so calming to me. Just going to the river and just watching the water. I started to do it by myself after I was taken there, and I think that helped me a lot. Not only did I get to practice photography while I was out there, but I just got to stare at the sunset, the waves, and see all of that, and know that, there's still something out there. So I would just say, try and get them out. At least sit there with them. Sometimes you don't have to, most of the time actually, I don't think I ever expected them to have all of the answers. I just wanted somebody there. And, they were very wonderful. They did, make me go to the hospital. They made me go to counseling and stuff. They went with me to counseling, which was even better. That was awesome for me. So it was just nice to have that person who pulled me out of my own rut and wouldn't let me sit there, and who said, I tried to lie. I tried to be like, I'm fine, I promise, no, like, everything's good, while I'm sitting here, like, staring at a blade, wanting to cut myself. Like, obviously I wasn't okay. That being said, after looking back on it now, they were exhausted. Mentally, emotionally, physically. They invested so much trying to make sure that I was okay that they forgot about themselves almost. I don't think necessarily they forgot about themselves, but they were always there. And, I mean, while that was good for me, it was not good for them. So I think you need to have that healthy boundary. Because with us, there wasn't boundaries. I didn't know how to set boundaries yet, and I don't think I could have. So I think that was something that, we really should have probably talked about, honestly. So just, being there, you don't even have to say anything. Just watch crappy reality TV with me and like make fun of it at all the right moments, and we'll move on with life. But having a place to go where I wouldn't be allowed that option to cut, where I wouldn't be allowed that option to sit there and dwell in my own thoughts and not let them out. Like, that was what meant the most to me. So if you have, a teen or a friend or, heck, a parent suffering right now, the best thing you can do is just be there. And I always say, if you know somebody who's struggling, like, message them first, text them first, like, talk to them first, because people who are depressed don't reach out. We don't. We think that we're burdening people with our problems all the time if we go to them, so we wait for them to talk to us. Me, I did it in a little bit different manner. I would sit outside the dorm room doors to my RA and wait for them to walk by and talk to me. But they had to talk to me first. If they just walked by and were like, hey, bye, then I wouldn't have said anything. But if they actually were like, hey, how's it going? You sure? I would actually talk to them and get the real purpose as to why I was sitting out there. So it's definitely hard on you guys to have to be that support. So that's why I want to make sure that I mention all of the other outlets as well. So, make sure that it's not risking your own mental health as well, because it will if you delve that deep into it. And just try to be there. Take them to the lake. Don't take them where there's a bunch of people. They don't want to be around a bunch of people, and if they do want to be around a bunch of people, they'll sit there on the outskirts and think about how everybody else is so happy, and why can't I be that happy, and what am I doing wrong? How do I get into this group of friends? I'm socially awkward. How does that function? So it causes a lot of stress whenever you go around people. So even just, going to the river or backroading or whatever it may be, just getting out is important. So I definitely want to, thank everybody who did that for me, especially my college RAs. Oh my gosh, they did so much for me, and I feel bad whenever I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I soaked up all of their mental capabilities. They didn't have time to focus on anything else, and that was my fault, and I feel really guilty for it now. But I was very blessed to get connected with those two, and I actually got to thank them for it yesterday. So it's tough work. It's tough work, when you're the depressed individual. It's tough work whenever you're trying to help a depressed individual. No matter what, it's tough. So I think if you just keep pursuing it, and definitely taking them to the hospital. I don't know kind of what was my on-off switch. It kind of happened like that, honestly. Like, all of a sudden, it just off. But you gotta find what their off switch is and what's going to make them not dwell in their own minds. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you guys have a good day, and there really can be a brighter tomorrow, guys.